Hi, welcome to the first episode of Femboy Cooking. Today, we're going to be making some sugar cookies. I think sugar cookies are really good, but we're having our first episode. I think it's going to go pretty good. Alright, so I have all of our ingredients right here. I have sugar, flour, vanilla, baking soda, baking powder, and an egg. And I do need butter, so I'm going to go get some butter real quick. Alright, there's some butter in here. Just gotta grab it. Oh, you have to open both doors. Alright, so I got my butter here. I'm gonna go throw that in the microwave and just let it heat up so we can cook with it. So if you want to make this recipe, you're gonna need 2 bowls for this, just for the separate ingredients. So I got 2 out right there. And then you're gonna preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm gonna go do that real quick. Alright, and I'm gonna throw that butter in the microwave for around 13 seconds. I round up to 15, why not? Alright, now it's gonna be pretty soft, so just take it out by the sides, and then I'm gonna put it inside of the small bowl for now. Alright, so the butter's all ready and melted, so I'm gonna go ahead and add the sugar, which is the next step in the small bowl. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. Alright, and I have a sweet tooth, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a 4th one, just for the extra sweetness. Alright, and you're gonna wanna mix all this up before we move on. Alright, and when you're done mixing that, you're gonna want something that looks something like this. Just kind of sandy, yellow, and doesn't look like butter or sugar anymore. And then to that small bowl, we're just going to add the vanilla and the egg. Alright, I had to crack the egg off camera, but it's right in there. I'm gonna go get that vanilla. Just want to be real careful not to overflow. Alright, and then pour that in. Again, I like it a little sweet, so I'm just gonna put a little bit more. Alright, just a tad bit more. And then it goes. I'm just gonna mix this all up and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, and when you're done with that, it should just be like a really smooth paste that's kind of gritty. And it's not done yet, so don't put it on a tray. We still have to use our rest of our ingredients over here, like the flour, to really make these cookies. Alright, we're gonna start off by using some of our flour inside of the big bowl here, and then we'll add our baking soda and powder on top of it. Alright, first scoop, second scoop. Alright, and then the last one. Alright, and then baking powder and our baking soda. Alright, and you're just going to want to mix this up a bit just to get the flour mixed in with the baking soda and the baking powder. Don't have to mix it up too much since it's just a bunch of powder, but you just want to make sure it's not all in one area, which wouldn't be too good for the cookies. So, oops, I kind of shouted out a little bit. Alright, and we're going to put everything in the small bowl into the big bowl, and I'll show you the steps of that. I just gotta have some hands. Alright, just make sure you try and get every last little bit out, and then put that right into there. And then we're just going to mix that all up. Alright, so while you're mixing it, it might seem like that there's too much flour that you put in, but if you just keep mixing it, it'll even out and make your dough. Alright, now my dough wasn't setting, and it's actually because I didn't put enough butter in. I only put in a half a cup of butter, and I need a full cup, so I have to go get some more butter and melt it. And I'm just gonna throw it in and see if it works. Yeah, even on the butter it says half a cup, so honestly, I'm not that smart, but I'm just gonna melt this and throw it in and hope it works out. Alright, and I'm just gonna go throw that in and just, it's gonna work. Everything's fine. Alright, we got our extra half cup of butter and hopefully it forms up. Alright, so pretty much as soon as I started mixing, it actually started forming up really quickly. So I'm just gonna keep mixing and hopefully it turns into dough. Alright, so it actually formed into dough, which I'm really happy about. It did take a lot of mixing though, so my hand actually really hurts and my arm's pretty tired, but we have dough. And now all I gotta do is just put it on sheets and throw it in the oven. Before we put everything in the oven, I'm just gonna do some cleanup real quick, just so we can have a clean workspace. And look how clean our workstation is. Very proud. Alright, I'm gonna get some parchment paper real quick. Alright, I did have to cut them just because the parchment paper I got was a bit long for the trays. But either way, we got parchment paper and I can put dough on it now. Alright, I put them in just like small 1 to 2 inch balls. If you want to make them bigger or you want to make them small, then you might have to adjust the cooking time a little bit, but they're still gonna end up the same. Alright, so we got our cookie dough on trays. Took everything out of there. Had to bunch it up a little because it just wasn't sticking, but that's all fine. Just gonna throw it in the oven now. Alright, and while that's cooking, I'm just gonna clean this up real quick so we can finish up all of our cleaning. I know you can't see them that well, but they're actually looking pretty good in the oven. They just need a couple more minutes and they'll be out. Alright, now these turned out really good. They even got those cracks in them, like normal sugar cookies do. And I'm just gonna throw that second batch in for the same 10 minutes, and I think they're gonna turn out really nice. Alright, so I put these ones in for about probably 3 minutes longer, and I think they turned it a lot better. You can see the cracks in them are a lot more defined than the other one, and I think they cooked through a lot better. So yeah, I think it turned out really good, even though we messed up in the middle. Alright, I actually do just want to get a small piece of each of them. Ooh. It's kind of hard to take apart. Those ones just came out, so we'll try this one first, see how it tastes. Alright, so I had a little bit from each cookie. Personally, they both really do taste like sugar cookies, but I would say that this one is probably better than this one, just because we let it cook a bit longer and it had more time to really turn into a sugar cookie. And maybe it's because I just took them out of the oven. One of the two. Alright, so that's going to conclude our first episode of Femboy Cooking. We just made sugar cookies. It's a pretty basic recipe. I will post the measurements down in the description along with all the ingredients so that you guys can also follow along. If you liked the video, just like and subscribe and let me down in the comments know what you thought of it, and I'll keep making more videos.